Hey everybody, welcome to my latest and only second ever golf video that I'm making here on YouTube today. For this video here, I had quite a few choices of what to do. They're not as many as for the other types of sports videos I've made before. There were 7 different golf-related personalities who had birthdays on January 10th over the years, including the one that I chose today, and several different tournaments that have been played on this time of year over the years since 1958, which is when my golf book begins to chronicle the history of the PGA Tour. So we had Ted Bishop, who won the 1946 U.S. Amateur, who was born in 1913 on January the 10th. Ettore Della Torre, born in 1938, who tied for second in the 1970 German Open, was a European Tour player. Bob Hamilton, who I almost picked because he was a major champion. He was born in 1916, and he won the 1944 PGA Championship, along with 9 other professional wins. Ji Yu Jung, born in 1996, a Japan LPGA rookie in 2023. Ian Poulter, the one I ended up choosing, who was born in 1976. And he has 2 World Golf Championship wins, 5 Ryder Cup wins, and 17 professional wins in his career already. Then there was also 2 others. Robert Thompson, born in 1957, who finished 182nd on the money list in 1991 on the PGA Tour with $40,895 in winnings. His career winnings were $236,297 on making 60 of 161 cuts in his career. His best finish of his career was 3rd in 1989 at the Deposit Guarantee Golf Classic. But I didn't pick him. He was too obscure, I think. And one more, Walter Travis, who was born way back in 1862. He won 3 U.S. amateurs from in 1900, 1901, and 1903, and he won the British Amateur in 1904. And back then, those were all considered major championships. He was also a writer, prolific writer about golf, and a golf course designer. But the one I just and then there were also a lot of tournaments played over the years on this time of year. There were some of those were the Sony Open in Hawaii, which was played off and on in the 2000s and back in the 1990s around this time of year. And there was also the Mercedes Championships, which was before that known as the Tournament of Champions, that was played on around this time of year as far back as the mid-1980s to late 1980s. Then we have the Tucson Open that was played around this time of year also, as recently as 1996, on back through the early 90s and even the early 80s and the mid-70s, and some more tournaments here that were played around this time of year too. The Bob Hope Tournament, up until the late 80s, was played around this time of year and started way back in the I guess in the late 70s. Bob Hope, he had the tournament before then, but it was played a little bit different time of year before then. Then the LA Open was played in this week around this time of year in 1983. That was sponsored by Glenn Campbell back then. And then we have the Phoenix Open. That was back in the 1970s, played off and on around this time of year between 73 and 75, 1978. It's also the Bing Crosby Tournament was played around this time of year too, even as far back as 1958, the earliest year that I have records for, and up until about 1972. Off and on between there, 1968 also. And then in the late 60s, there was a tournament called the Alameda County Open. It was played in 1969 around this week. And before that, back in the mid-60s and early 60s, there was the San Diego Open between 1961 and 64, and 66 and 67 that was played around this time of year and this week. In 1960, there was a tournament called the Yorba Linda Open, also in California. The year before that was the Tijuana Open in Mexico. So, there's been a lot of tournaments played way out west on this tournament week over the years. But after all that, I decided to pick Ian Poulter because he is a fairly recent guy who has made a lot of headlines over the years for different reasons related to both on the course and off the course as well. But so I picked Ian Poulter. Poulter was born, Ian James Poulter, on January the 10th, 1976. So he turns 50 today. He was born in Hitchin, Hertfordshire, England, and raised in Stevenage, England. Poulter took up the game of golf at the age of 4 when his single-handicap father Terry gave him a cut-down 3-wood. His older brother Danny is also a professional golfer. Unable to get a place as a pro at a private club, he became the assistant pro and golf shop manager, what we'd call the pro shop manager here in North America, at the Chesfield Downs Golf Club. There he was forced by his boss to pay a full green fee every time he wanted to play in a competition. His handicap stayed at 4 because he did not play in competitions. Following this period, Poulter joined as assistant pro at Leighton Buzzard Golf Course, giving lessons to youngsters at £1 per lesson. He is an avid fan of soccer club Arsenal. In around 1995-1996, Poulter turned professional. He earned his first win at the 1999 Open de Côte d'Ivoire on the European Tour's second-tier Challenge Tour. He won promotion to the European Tour itself via the qualifying school later that year. In his first season, he claimed the Italian Open title and was the Sir Henry Cotton Rookie of the Year for 2000. Further wins followed in each of the next 4 seasons, most prestigiously the season-ending Volvo Masters, the European Tour equivalent of the PGA Tour Championship, in 2004. He was in the top 10 on the money list, known as the Order of Merit, in 2003, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2010, and 2012. In 2013, he finished second on the Order of Merit, his highest placing so far. After narrowly missing a place on the 2002 European Ryder Cup team, Poulter was a member of the victorious squad in 2004, where he officially scored the winning points for his team, seconds before Colin Montgomery holed what many thought at the time to be the winning putt a few holes ahead of Poulter on the course. At the 2008 Masters Tournament, Poulter made a hole-in-one at the 16th hole at Augusta National in the first round. At the 2008 Open Championship, what we call the British Open, Poulter had the clubhouse lead in the last round before being beaten by defending champion Padraig Harrington. In the 2008 Ryder Cup, Poulter was the highest point scorer on either side, as he scored 4 of Europe's 11.5 points. Europe lost the Ryder Cup 16.5 to 11.5. In the 2009 Players' Championship, he finished in sole possession of second place at 8 under par, 4 shots behind the winner, Henrik Stenson. In November 2009, Poulter won the Barclays Singapore Open at the Sentosa Club. He moved into the top 10 of the official World Golf Ranking in January 2010, with a second-place finish at the Abu Dhabi Golf Championship. In February 2010, he won his first tournament on U.S. soil, beating fellow Englishman Paul Casey 4-2 in the final of the WGC Accenture Match Play Championship in Arizona. The win moved him to 5th in the world rankings, still his highest ranking of his career. I want to dive in and take a closer look at this tournament because it is Poulter's first of 3 PGA Tour victories. So the 2010 WGC, or World Golf Championships, Accenture Match Play Championship was held February 17th to 21st at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club at Dove Mountain in Marana, Arizona, northwest of Tucson. This was the last year the final was played at 36 holes. It was reduced to 18 holes in 2011. The championship was a single-elimination match play event. The field consisted of the top 64 players available from the official World Golf Rankings as of the February 7th ranking, seeded according to the rankings. Tiger Woods, world number 1, did not play, as he had had a recent car accident and there were reports of his infidelity. And Phil Mickelson, number 3, and my personal favorite golfer as a fellow lefty, did not play either. They were replaced by Chris Wood, ranked 65, and Ross McGowan, ranked 66. Mickelson was taking a family vacation that was delayed by his wife Amy's treatment for breast cancer. The field was divided into 4 16-player brackets for the first 4 rounds, known as the Bobby Jones bracket, the Ben Hogan bracket, the Gary Player bracket, and the Sam Snead bracket. Poulter, seeded 3rd in the Jones bracket and 9th overall, defeated Justin Leonard, the 56th seed, in a match that was tied after 18 holes and won by Poulter on the 19th. The biggest upset on day 1 was top-seeded Steve Stricker being beaten by McGowan in 19 holes. On day 2, February 18th, Poulter beat Australian Adam Scott, ranked number 41, 2 holes up and 1 to play. The upsets continued as number 2 Lee Westwood, number 3 Jim Furyk, number 4 Martin Kaymer, and number 5 Rory McIlroy all lost. Only number 6 Paul Casey was ranked higher than Poulter among the victorious players on day 2. On day 3, February 19th, in the round of 16, so-called, Poulter beat Jeev Milkha Singh, one of the lowest-ranked players left at number 57, 5-4. That is, 5 holes ahead with 4 to play. Not a close match at all against the player from India. On day 4, February 20th, in the quarterfinals, Poulter played another fairly low-ranked player, Thongchai Jaidee from Thailand, and beat him by the closest of margins, 1 up. That morning, Squeaker put Poulter into the semifinals against Sergio Garcia of Spain in the afternoon. That match would not be nearly as close. Poulter rolled Garcia in his most lopsided match of the tournament, 7-6, in a rain-soaked, wind-blown semifinal match. He had a long time to rest while waiting to find out who he would play in the final. Casey and Camilo Villegas played on until darkness forced a suspension of their match until the next morning. They were still all square after 23 holes. In Poulter's match with Garcia, the Spaniard actually birdied the first hole to lead, but Poulter won 7 holes in an 8-hole span from numbers 3 to 10. In the other match, Villegas from Colombia missed a 3-footer on the 23rd hole that would have ended the match and put him up against Poulter in the final. The next morning, Sunday, February 21st at 7:10 a.m., Villegas and Casey finished their match on the 24th hole when Villegas hit his drive into the desert left of the fairway and lost the hole. Villegas did go on to finish 3rd, beating Garcia 5-4 in the 3rd-place match. Wearing an all-pink outfit and sporting a disposition to match, Poulter led from hole number 7 until the match ended against Casey. He led by as much as 4 up and as little as 2 up during the course of an 8-hour, soggy, cold day, and he was always in control. You know, I've never felt more comfortable on a golf course, he said. I've been a lot more nervous than I was today in the past. With 9 holes to play and previous wins, I would admit I've been nervous and I've been excited. But today I just felt calm and I felt that I could deliver whenever I needed to deliver. Poulter took a 3-up lead on Casey on the 33rd hole, putting Casey dormy, the term for being up in a match by as many holes as there are remaining to be played. The match ended on number 34, a par 3, 247-yard hole. Poulter found the green on his tee shot while Casey hit into a bunker. Casey chipped out of the sand and past the pin, then barely missed a long putt. That gave Poulter 2 putts to secure his first PGA Tour victory after 103 starts. He needed 1. What can I say? Poulter played great, Casey said. There were lots of shots I'd like to pull off, but I didn't. Poulter's secret weapon was a yardage book that he consulted before each putt, reading the greens with the help of notes he made before and during the tournament. On a course known for its tricky greens, Poulter's smooth, decisive putting stroke nailed 9 birdies to Casey's 6 birdies and an eagle. It's so pleasing, he said, to be able to finally say I'm a winner on the PGA Tour. Poulter won $1.4 million out of the purse of $8.5 million for that tournament. And now Poulter turns 50, meaning that he is eligible to play on the Senior Tour this year. If he plays, he should do really well, as most guys do when they first get out there. You get to ride in a cart instead of walk, so it saves your legs. There is no cut, so you make money every tournament you play. And the courses are shorter and less demanding, making it easier to shoot low scores. Of course, another pretty good golfer by the name of Tiger Woods just turned 50 himself on December 30th, so the competition will be fierce. The only thing that might hold Tiger back is that he has had so many surgeries in the past few years, so it's hard to say how much or how well Tiger will play. My own impressions from watching Ian Poulter play over the years, aside from the snappy outfits, are that he was one of the most intense, fired-up guys I remember, especially during the Ryder Cup, when it seemed he could almost will the ball into the hole. He was one of the best leaders of the European team and epitomized the camaraderie and togetherness that made the Europeans so successful. I wouldn't be surprised if he is a Ryder Cup captain in years to come. Yes, sir. And that is Ian Poulter. A little look at him on this January the 10th, his 50th birthday. So happy birthday to Ian Poulter. Anybody else out there who celebrates a birthday on January the 10th. But that's going to do it for me today. I'll be back on Monday with my, well, not exactly Monday, but I'm going to start on Monday to work on my next Stories in a Song video, which is going to be another Bee Gees song called Run to Me. So, thanks all for watching and listening, and be here next time, because I ain't even started yet. Have a good day now. Bye.